All right, let's jump right in. The world of new home marketing, it's always been a bit of a high-stakes gamble. Builders are placing these huge bets on advertising, really just hoping to land the right buyer at the right time. But what if? What if you could play the game without putting all your chips on the table right from the start? We're about to break down a pretty interesting new model that aims to do just that.
And see, this is the core of the problem, right? A builder can pour a ton of money into digital ads, fancy brochures, you name it. But here's the kicker. They pay for all of that exposure, whether it leads to a handshake at the closing table or just dead silence. It's a massive upfront financial risk with absolutely no guarantee of a return.
So this begs a really disruptive question. Just imagine for a second, a world where your marketing budget is tied directly to results. You only pay for the marketing that actually leads to a signed contract and a closed deal. I mean, it sounds simple, but that idea completely rewrites the financial equation for home builders. And the timing for a new approach like this really couldn't be more critical. I mean, let's face it, we're in a challenging market. Interest rates are high, the cost for builders to just carry their unsold homes are climbing, and buyers, well, they're being a lot more cautious, and who can blame them? All of this means every single marketing dollar is being put under a microscope. There's just no room for wasted spend anymore.
And this brings us to the pay-for-performance pitch from a company called BuildersUpdate. The whole idea is to take marketing from being this fixed, upfront expense, a line item you have to budget for, win or lose, and turn it into a variable cost, a cost you only have to deal with when you actually make money from a sale. It's a genuine paradigm shift in how builders can think about their entire budget for generating new business. When you put the two models side by side, the difference is just, well, it's stark. The old way means you pay a bunch of money up front, cross your fingers, and you carry 100% of the risk. But in this new model, there's no upfront cost. You only pay when a home actually closes. And this is the most important part. The financial risk fundamentally shifts away from the builder.
So the big question is, how does this actually work in the real world? It's not magic, right? There have to be very specific rules and mechanics that decide when and how this performance-based fee is actually earned. So let's break it down. Okay, first we've got to understand a key legal term, procuring cause. This is basically the industry standard for figuring out the chain of events that directly led to a sale. It's how everyone decides who officially brought the buyer to the deal, and because of that, who has rightfully earned their fee. This whole concept is the foundation of the entire model.
So, you only pay when three very specific things happen. Number one, the buyer has to be brought in by a licensed real estate agent who is actively using the BuildersUpdate platform. Two, the system has to check and verify that this is a brand new lead, not someone who is already in the builder's database. And three, and this is the most obvious one, the home has to actually close, with the platform clearly documented as that procuring cause we just talked about.
Okay, so what's the magic number? What's the price for a successful sale? It's a flat $750 marketing fee per closed home. And the company is really clear about this. This is a substitute for your other advertising spend. It is not an extra commission for the agent. It's meant to replace the money you would have already spent on ads that, may or may not have worked. And you can totally see why this is turning some heads. This quote from a builder who's actually using the program, it really says it all. I mean, they're already working with agents, but this model puts their properties in front of this huge network of agents without the financial drain of paying for leads that just go nowhere. Of course, an idea like this only works if it has some serious scale behind it. You need a massive distribution network to generate enough qualified leads to be a real asset for builders. You can't just have a handful of agents, right? And the numbers here are pretty significant. The platform connects builders to a network of over 841,000 licensed real estate agents all across the country. These are the professionals on the front lines, the ones qualifying buyers and bringing them to the table. And it's not just about the people network. There's the digital footprint too. Builder communities get listed on more than 13,000 websites, which, dramatically expands a builder's online reach without them having to manage thousands of individual listings themselves. So, what does all this mean for the decision makers? I mean, it's one thing to get how it works on paper, but it's a whole other thing to analyze what it means strategically for the C-suite. Different leaders are going to look at this from very different and maybe even conflicting perspectives. Yeah, see, everyone on the leadership team is going to have their own critical question. The VP of Sales is asking, is $750 a sale cheaper than what I'm paying now for Google Ads or Zillow leads? But the CFO, they're thinking about risk and margin stability. The division president wants to know if it actually grows their agent network on the ground. And then you've got operations, asking that super important practical question. How the heck does this even plug into the systems we already have? The real challenge is the answer might be a heck yes for sales, but a major headache for ops.
So, with all that in mind, who is this model a perfect fit for? It's probably not for every single builder out there, but for a few specific types, this could be a real game changer. This seems like it was tailor-made for a few key groups. First, any builder who's sitting on spec inventory that just needs to move, and move quickly, without sinking a huge new marketing budget into it. Second, small to mid-sized builders who already depend heavily on their relationships with outside agents. And third, any operator who's breaking into a new city and needs to build brand awareness and get in front of local agents, like yesterday. Okay, so after looking at how it works and who it's for, it really all comes down to one simple, ultimate test of whether this model provides real value. What is the single most important way to measure if it's successful? Here it is. This is the crucial point. The program has to deliver additional, incremental closings. It can't just be a service that gets credit for buyers who would have found the builder anyway. To be truly valuable, it has to generate new business that wouldn't have existed otherwise. That is the bottom line.
And that leaves us with the final question for every builder, CFO, and marketing director out there. In today's choppy and uncertain market, is converting a major financial risk, your marketing spend, into a predictable, success-based fee the single smartest bet you can make? That's definitely something to think about.